the deductible thing, it never really bothers me from an outside perspective because like insurance companies aren't God and the government, like they're like, those are two separate things, by the way, but
Yep.
like does it matter? Does it really matter that they kind of like,
It does, and I'll tell you why.
You're going to judge me for asking this, but does it
No,
really matter? Are they bad people for covering deductibles?
I think I'll answer on behalf of those people that do have a problem with it, and that is this. At the end of the day, there's no possible way that you can both stay in business, be profitable, and not cut corners on the customer's job while covering deductibles. Why do I know that? Because I know my books. I know what my margins are. I know what my EBITDA is. And if I were to cover a third of my customers' deductibles, we would not be a business. We would be a really expensive hobby. Because as much as $30 million sounds like a lot of money, very little of that stays home because obviously you have to pay people, pay your crews, so to run a business legitimately where you're not that guy ignoring little 82-year-old Betty 2 years from now when her roof starts leaking and you're out of business or your burner phone is not, active anymore, that bothers me. So that's why for me, it's more like, I know I couldn't, without cutting corners on a roof install, be profitable.
What about the, I'm asking the hard questions, Randy.
Yeah, no, ask them. Yeah, I love it.
What about the kind of peripherals? The peripherals to cover. And now I don't even think I'm supposed to ask this question. I think I'm supposed to avoid.
Well, you have to almost ask yourself as a homeowner, if this person, and in the state of Texas, it's actually against the law, and I'm a rule of law guy. And so if this guy is willing, if Tim's sitting in front of me and he's like, don't worry about it, we got your deductible. Well, even if I'm okay with that, I have to ask myself, if this guy's okay with breaking the law blatantly like that, then what else are you doing?
The gray area of peripheral items that cover it. You know what I mean? There's this item's also messed up from hail, and we can kind of, you know what I mean?
Well, no, I don't, because if say there's a shed, for example, if you're talking about a second building that maybe the customer says, I don't want to do that. Well, the insurance company is not giving them all the money up front. There's depreciation that needs to be released. And so even with them taking that money and putting it towards so that they can, the deductible thing, I just have never been a big fan. It's like you sign a contract with your insurance company that says you'll pay this part, they'll pay the balance. Mm-hmm. And so any roofer, now if I was in a state.
To you, that's, and I think I agree that you signed a contract as a homeowner. That is ethical to follow through on what you said you would do, whether it's a corporation or whether it's a small business.
So
and
once you,
I think that's where sometimes roofing people and we kind of fight, it's okay because it's a corporation. So it's back in the day, I used to be a piece of shit. If I'm honest with you, Randy, I used to be a piece of shit. I stole shit. And I'm sure I'm not supposed to say that either. I'm just saying all this shit. Walmart, I stole batteries, or something.
Right.
I was a criminal. I was a child, I was a teenager or whatever. I'm sure I just lost a few people, whatever.
Yeah.
The point is because it was a big corporation, you know what I mean? I justified it in my mind, but
I think Brian Summerly just addressed this recently in a podcast with Dimitri. He said there are saints with a past and sinners with a future. So don't worry. I wouldn't worry too much about your past.
I like to believe that there's redemption for all humanity.
Absolutely.
It's not that different though. That's what I'm trying to say is if you think I'm a piece of shit for stealing batteries from Walmart, maybe, just maybe, this is kind of you did agree to, the homeowner agreed to this. You're kind of abetting the homeowner in a theft.
Well, that's the other thing too, is they're not only willing to break the law, the way the Texas law is written is they're not only willing to break the law from the contractor standpoint, they're willing to allow the homeowner to be accessory to that. Because as soon as the homeowner allows, because the only way that whole thing works is if they fraudulently bill the insurance company for the full amount the insurance company said they would pay, even though they know they're not going to charge the customer that amount. And so by the customer accepting that, they're also breaking the law. And so it's just this whole I'd rather grow our business ethically and do the right thing than to try to, and I think we've been rewarded for it. Like, from the consumer, they know that we don't cover deductibles, yet here they are still using us, right? And so I think I'd rather run my business ethically and do it within the confinements of the law than to make a couple of $1 million and barely geek out a profit. And again, if you're like a two-man crew, your overhead isn't going to be what my overhead is. But when I look at the numbers, a company my size can't cover deductibles and still be profitable, because I have a lot of overhead and what have you. So I'd say if you want to get into this business and do it the right way, sell yourself more as a value than what you can give away, anytime. In fact, that would be one of my things that I would push to any business owners out there is instead of giving discounts, always ask for something in return for what you're giving, because otherwise there's no value that has been assumed by what you gave away. I learned that in corporate America. When the guy would go, well, can you do this for $1 million too? These are pretty large projects. I'm like, well, no, I think we're pretty firm at $1.5 million. However, and then I would do a quid pro quo. If you're willing to X, Y, Z, or D, then we could probably do this, because then I can try to recover some of that difference by going to this. Okay, great. So I got something for what I gave. That's a whole nother topic, though.
I want to just wrap up the whole
deductible thing.
Is like, God, I have people I know.
I would be willing to bet that you don't have a whole lot of customers.
Like, what's that?
I would be willing you don't have a whole lot of customers that run their business like that, though, because you have to have enough money for marketing, right, to pay out.
I'm not even saying they're customers. I don't think I have any, not that I know of. I'm sure I have a lot of customers, right? So I'm sure there's somebody, but like more like people I know, and like I just don't want to I hate being the moralizer.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, because I really I'm rooting for roofing companies no matter what, dude. Like, if there's any fight or beef between insurance, like this isn't like more. I'm not saying this because I'm on the insurance company side.
Right.
I think Randy's point is valid that it's like better for your business, and it's better for the profitability of that job. And then I also think, from my point of view, like I'm rooting for everybody, every roofer, because especially if you're connecting homeowners and getting their roof put on, and you're providing that value by making sure that there's like deliberation with the insurance company, like you're providing a lot of value, and I'm rooting for you no matter what. I would way beyond rooting for you than I am the insurance company. But
of course,
all stories are more interesting with ethics.
Yeah.
All stories are more interesting, and I think more fun with you having principles that guide your business. And I'm saying I'm rooting for you no matter what.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
And however, evolve, in my opinion, and I mean, like people, there's bigger companies that do this too.
Yeah.
So like that's the hard part. There's always outliers that like run do some of this and then like win. So like it's more like look for the like pattern, not the like. You know what I mean? Like try to follow like the companies that are growing, and you see more of them, not like the one company that does something weird and wins.
That'd be actually a good little poll that you can do from your page, is maybe even out of your customer base, or just in general, people who follow your process, follow you guys, if they can admit without everybody seeing who it was.
No one would admit that. No one admits shit though. Like Randy, it's like always behind the scenes. And I don't know. The other thing is just the confusion of like using this to cover the deductible. You know what I mean? This is all kind of confusing to me, and I want to learn. But I'm outside. I'm not a roofing company owner, and I'm not a roofing company salesperson. So that's another reason that I don't want to be the morals guy.
Right.
Because it's like kind of disingenuous to pretend I'm a morals guy, then, whatever I don't know the nuances always.
Right. Yep. I hear you.
You do know some nuances, Randy.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is a great topic. I appreciate you spending a little bit more time on this one. Absolutely. Hey, where can people check you out?
So if you want to connect with me on Facebook, it's just Randy Martin Hurtado with the blue check mark. Love to chat with people, and it doesn't have to be anything relating what we talked about today. If you're a new roofer owner, or you've been at it for a while and you've had some issues, I love talking. I actually shared this from stage is Napoleon Hill statement or comment where it says something to the effect of, by you helping other people, you almost always get help yourself. And that is so true. I'll be having a conversation with somebody and they're like, yeah, I have this guy who's doing this or that. And then they'll say, and I'm like, well, have you considered doing this? This is how we do it. And they'll say something else and it's a total golden nugget. I'm like, yeah. And I walk away from that conversation where my intention was to help this person, getting something out of it. And so if you want to connect up with me on Facebook, if you're interested in our referral program, it's roofingreferrals.com. There's also a named Facebook page that you can check out. Go ahead and friend me and Ryan Van Fleet, and we'd be glad to go over it with you. Zero pressure. I can tell you that so far, out of the customers that we've spoken to over the last several weeks, we're batting 1,000. So generally, when you hear the message and what it is that we're doing with it, and then see what it actually can do for you, but like any tool, I use this analogy a lot, but if the hammer just sits in the toolbox, it's never going to hit a nail. And so you have to use the program, but if you use it, it's guaranteed success because it's all based on the human condition, which is we are relational people. And so if you utilize it, it's going to be successful within your organization, regardless of your size. And in some cases, because you have your own company branded app, you look bigger than your competitor, even if they are 3 times the size because you have your own app.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you, sir. That's super cool. Note to end on. Podcast is put on by hookagency.com. Hook Agency all over social. Check us out. And
you guys check out Tim.
Thank you guys for hanging out. See ya.